Assalamu alaikum, this is Shahzeb Rafiq. Welcome to Labversity. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is cost in short run. We need to understand a few things before we start with the topic. We need to understand what does explicit cost means. Explicit cost. Now, explicit cost is the cost that is the cost to the company. For example, you pay the wages, you pay for the rent, you pay for the miscellaneous expenses that company have. That is said to be your explicit cost. Whereas the implicit cost is a cost which is an opportunity cost. For example, if a business is investing in their factors of production, so these resources can also be utilized in some other factors too, for some other reasons too. So this is said to be your implicit cost, which is also known as your opportunity cost. Now, accounting cost. See, when we talk about accounting cost is basically your explicit cost. तो हमने इसको अलग से क्यों रखा है? Reason why we have put it differently, just because accounting cost is a cost which only consider that is being recorded, because opportunity, since we cannot record the opportunity cost, therefore explicit cost is basically your accounting cost. Being a business, so business only consider the accounting cost, whereas if we talk about the economy, so economy consider both the implicit and the explicit cost. Therefore economic cost is equals to implicit cost plus explicit cost. Just because economy do consider the opportunity cost of everything, means if you are implementing resources to any of the activity, so economy will consider that if we put these resources in some other activity, what benefit we could have from implementing these resources. The next is the fixed cost. The fixed cost means the cost which do not change with the level of output. Means if I have a space for making 1000 markers, and so the rent would be the fixed cost. So I have to, if I produce anything, I have to pay the same rent, and if I don't produce anything, I have to pay the rent. I do not have to pay the labor and the material cost, but I have to pay the rent of the place. So this is said to be a fixed, which do not change with the level of output. The last but not the least is the variable cost. Variable cost is the cost which changes with the level of output, and the example of variable cost is the labor cost as well as the material cost, because you know that the number of units we produce, the more the number of units we produce, the higher cost we have to pay for it. So this is said to be your variable cost. So we are going to discuss measuring short-run cost today. For that, we need to understand what does the total productivity means. So we know that initially the businesses will have a higher level of productivity, and this is the reason that high level of productivity leads to a lower level, a decreasing rate of total cost. You can compare both of these curves here. One represents the total productivity, and the other represents the total cost. As you can see, in the initial basis, your productivity level is quite high. Therefore, your total productivity is increasing with the increasing rate. This curve basically shows increasing rate. Your total productivity is increasing with increasing rate. So at that point, and on the same side, as you see on the total cost, your total cost increases with decreasing rate. Just because of the higher productivity, you make less mistakes, you make less wastage, therefore your total cost reduces. Therefore your total cost is increasing but with decreasing rate. So this you can compare both of these. Total productivity is increasing with increasing rate, whereas on the same side, total cost is increasing with decreasing rate. Somehow at a particular point, when your total cost starts to increase with the increasing rate, you can write increasing rate here. It's increasing rate. So when your total cost start to increase with increasing rate, so you can see the curve. Now the total cost is increasing, but on the same side your productivity starts to fall. Therefore you can see that your productivity starts to fall, and this curve, this movement of the productivity, this shows that the total productivity is increasing but with diminishing rate. So your productivity is increasing with diminishing rate or decreasing rate. So you can see the both of these, the total productivity and total cost, are opposite to each other. When your total cost is increasing with decreasing rate, at the same time your total productivity will be increasing with increasing rate. Acha ji. Now we can compare a maximum point where you get maximum output, or you can say that when your total productivity was increasing with increasing rate. So this was the maximum point that you ended up. After this, your total productivity starts to decline, but your total productivity was increasing with decreasing rate. Therefore, your marginal productivity starts to fall. As we know that if we take out the slope of total productivity, the formula of slope is change in y upon change in x. That is change in total productivity upon change in quantity. So you can see this is the formula we use for marginal productivity, and since we are making the curve for the marginal productivity, so at point where your total productivity starts to fall, now your total productivity will starts to fall or increase with a decreasing rate. Therefore your marginal productivity will starts to decline. It will be declining trend. It will show a declining trend. So this is how you can compare your marginal productivity with the total productivity. And when we compare the total cost with the marginal cost, so you can see a point where your total cost was increasing with a decreasing rate. So this was the maximum point, that is x, and at the same point your marginal cost fought as the least point, means at this point you are making maximum output at minimum cost. After that, when your total cost was increasing with increasing rate, your marginal cost starts to increase, because marginal cost shows the per unit change, as we have written here as well. So marginal cost is the cost of production and of producing an extra unit. So when your total cost start to increase with increasing rate, therefore your marginal cost start to increase, your per unit cost start to increase. So this is what we call a relationship in between a total cost and a marginal cost, and a total productivity and a marginal productivity. And you can also compare your total productivity with total cost. So this was the lecture for today. I think I hope you have enjoyed it. Inshallah, we'll be doing the next lecture in the next class. See you soon. Thank you.